Hey guys, it's Amelia, but not the pilot, just Amelia. It's Halloween and you know what that means. I'm extremely sad. James and Lily Potter died on this day in 1981. Anyways, I'm here to talk about all the young dudes, because when am I not talking about all the young dudes? I've got my Lily outfit on today. This was a choice. I feel like it's made me more sad, but we're not gonna get into it. I made an all the young dudes reaction vlog theory video about 8 months ago, and y'all have been watching it. Thank you. I've never gotten that many views on a video before. Little crazy, little don't know what to do about that. So I thought I would just talk about some more all the young dude stuff, because thank you guys so much for watching that video, and I have so much more to say about all the young dudes. So let's get into it. First off, I would like to formally apologize for not mentioning Grant Chapman once. I don't know how I filmed that entire video and edited it and didn't think about Grant Chapman once. Like, what? I think about Grant Chapman like literally every day. How did I not do? I don't know. So this is my formal apology video. I'd like to apologize for not mentioning Grant Chapman. But like, I just love Grant so much, and I feel like you don't get characters like that a lot in books. I read a lot of books, okay? So I feel like I can say this, but I feel like not often is there a character, like a love triangle-ish thing going on, where they end up breaking up, but then they're still like friends, like adults. Like they are still friendly to each other and they don't hate each other and they still care about each other. And I love and support that. And Grant Chapman is too good for this world. Ah! Next up, I'd like to talk about the fact that I've gotten three whole people to read all the young dudes that I know in real life. I'm not sure if any of you guys watched my video and then decided to read it. I hope you guys did. I think I had a couple comments like that, but like, I don't actually know because I don't like have a direct contact with y'all. But I got 3 of my close friends to read all the young dudes, and I feel a little guilty for putting them through it, but also, like, it's better than Harry Potter, so, like, I don't feel guilty at all. And we're all suffering together, and that's made us closer. I think my cousin read it in 3 days, which I think is insane. I saw some of y'all saying that you read it in, like, literally in a day or whatever. I literally, like, how do you do that? Do you not do anything else? Did you skip school or work to do that? I don't understand. Do you not sleep? Another thing people have been asking me about is how do you print the books? I personally have not printed the books, but I have found out how you can do this. I will link down below the website. There's a specific website where you could use to self-publish if you are an author, and you could also print like one-off copies of books. So you have to format the entire thing, you have to supply the cover art and all that, and you cannot mention Harry Potter at all when you're doing the project, otherwise they will not print it for you. But just name it something like spaghetti toast or something like that. I don't know. And then it'll print just fine. I think I looked into it and I want to say it was maybe like $30 per book. So that would be like $90 to print all 3 All the Young Dudes books. From what I also understand, people generally split All the Young Dudes into 3 sections. One being like the first 4 years of Hogwarts, one being the last half of Hogwarts, and then the final one being the war chapters and beyond. And then people also usually include the epilogue Out of the Blue in the final book, just to have it all together. Some other cute things that people have been doing, they've been putting QR codes in the like front of each chapter, so that you could QR it and then it'll play the Spotify playlist while you're reading. I think that's adorable. I am indeed currently formatting all the young dudes. It's taking me forever, and I also don't have a lot of time to do it, but I am currently formatting it. I am a graphic designer, so I know how to do things like this. So when I finish, I will link it down below, but I don't think I'm going to finish it anytime soon. However, I am formatting it so that it looks exactly like the real Harry Potter books by Joanne. So I'm trying to have cute little illustrations. I have the contents page looking like this. I have cute little illustrations in front of each chapter, and I'm putting the little stars in the corner of each page. That's my current plan, and then I'm also trying to get the covers to generally look like Harry Potter books, because I want to put them on my shelf. I want the All the Young Dudes books on my bookshelf, and I want people to see them and be like, oh my god, when did these Harry Potter books come out? And I'll be like, well, let me tell you. However, I think I'm gonna rename it so that it's like Remus Lupin and the blah blah blah. And then All the Young Dudes will be the series name. That's just my plan right now. I don't know if you guys don't like that. That's fine, because it's not your book copy, it's gonna be mine. And I do really want the covers to look like the original artwork of the books. I'm not sure if I want it to be like the American version or the UK version quite yet. I'm still working on those details. But I have a friend who is an artist, illustrator. I'm gonna commission her, I think, to do the book covers for me. So I will get back to you on that. However, there are some very cool artworks already out there for covers, such as these. This one. I really like this one when I was thinking about it, but I don't know. I also haven't decided if I want to do a hardcover or paperback yet. I know those are choices that you can make, but I'm not there yet, clearly. So I will link down below how to print them yourself, because a lot of you have been asking me, and I had to research to find out, because I didn't know, but now I know, so I'm telling you now. If you'd also like to format it yourself, I'm not going to make a video about it, but I literally just have it in a Google Doc, and then you just gotta like move stuff around until it looks nice. And the place that I'm getting the little images, the illustrations for before each chapter, I will also link that down below. There's like, somebody took a compilation of all the chapter art from the original artist. I forgot her name, I think she's French. And have that all in one website, so I've just been downloading that and putting those in. I did not tell you to do this for legal reasons. I am not doing this. Moving on to the fan cast. I've been thinking about this fan cast too much. Ben Barnes, Timothée Chalamet, they're consuming my life. It's ruining me. If you don't know about the fan cast, this was a big thing in Tumblr circa 2010, which I was on Tumblr circa 2010, and I knew about this fan cast, but I never really cared that much until now, and it's all I think about. We got Andrew Garfield as Remus Lupin, we got Ben Barnes as Sirius Black, we have Dane DeHaan as Peter Pettigrew, which I honestly love, because I'll get into that in a second. We have Aaron Taylor Johnson as James Potter. We have Timothy as Reggie. I don't remember the other ones, but to be quite honest, I don't subscribe to the other ones. These are the ones that really matter to me. Sophie Skelton as Lily. Also, people have cast George McKay as Grant Chapman, which I support, I love. Something about his face reminds me of something, but I don't know what it is, but we're not gonna get to that. Sophie Skelton as Lily is, like, honestly perfect to me. Like, I know there's a bunch of other fan casts for Lily, but this is the one that I like the best. I've mainly seen her in Outlander, where she has an American accent, and she's in, like, old-timey clothing, but she has red hair in that, and she gives me Lily Potter vibes. I don't know what it is about it that, like, she does, but she's got the Lily Evan vibe, you know? For me, Marlene McKinnon is 100% this TikTok lady. I don't know who she is, but she is so Marlene that I cannot picture anybody else. She is Marlene. One of my current favorite pastimes is watching all of the movies and TV shows that these fancast people are in, and then thinking of the movies as James Potter, Remus Lupin, etc. For example, Aaron Taylor Johnson is in a movie called Nowhere Boy, which is about one of the Beatles. I don't remember which one. I think Paul, maybe? And it's about him growing up and having a rough time or whatever. But it's just very James Potter vibes. Like, anytime you see a fan edit, it's probably screen grabs from this movie. And he just gives James vibes. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, great movie, 10 out of 10, recommend watching and imagining that it's James. Also, further on that note, Ben Barnes is in a lot of movies. Specifically, I recommend watching Prince Caspian movies just because he's really hot in those, but, like, he vaguely gives off serious vibes. But Dorian Gray, one of my favorite books and favorite movies, is very much Sirius Black vibes. 10 out of 10 recommend. For Peter, there is a movie called Kill Your Darlings that actually has Daniel Radcliffe in it, and that is, like, there's some very Harry Potter-esque vibes, but that's a lot of the screen grabs come from that. It's a dark academia style movie. And then for Timothée, I would say the best Regulus vibe maybe would be Little Woman. I feel like a lot of screen grabs come from, but also maybe Dune-ish, because in Dune he's very like proper man type of vibes. So yeah, that's what I've been doing with my free time. Now, I know what y'all are saying. Like, after you read All the Young Dudes, what the hell are you supposed to do with your life? Well, first off, just reread All the Young Dudes again. And then if you want real pain, reread the Harry Potter series and imagine all this happening in the background, you know, from not Harry's perspective. So that sucks. But if you're looking for more books that have this sort of vibe, I have found a book series. It's actually one of my favorite fantasy young adult series. It's called The Raven Boys. The Raven Cycle is the series, right? And there's 4 books, but then there's also a spin-off of 3 that follow it. I don't know how to express to you that this book series, to me, is just literally a Marauders fanfiction. I know it's not, and Maggie Stiefvater is just, like, a great writer, but to me, it's just so Marauders that, like, I need everyone to also read it and think about this with me. It's a group of friends, a group of buds, will you say. There's, like, 4 guys, 1 girl. They all give Marauders vibes to me very heavily. Just hear me out on this one. I'm going to try to pitch this to you. So it's a young adult fantasy novel, and it's essentially just like an adventure, little like happy time. Like, well, it's not happy, but they're just going on an adventure. It's like a classic adventure story, an epic tale. We got Gainsey, who's a rich white boy from Virginia, and he is living in this cool apartment by himself, and he has all these like nerdy little quirks, and he's James, in my opinion. And he is leading this group to find this dead, lost king somewhere in Virginia. And he's very academic, and he's very into it, and he's very mother hen. Very James. Then we have Ronan Lynch, who is his best friend, also rich, but has a troubled past. Both of his parents are out of the picture. He has 2 brothers. He's essentially like a bad boy, like rebelling type of vibe, and he is Sirius Black. We've got that brotherly love thing going on. We've got that angsty childhood, the unhappy family aspect. We've got the brothers relationship. And then he also has a cool secret power that I'm not gonna spoil for you, so you will learn that when you read the books. We got Adam Parrish, who I think is Remus Lupin. Adam is a trailer park kid. He was abused as a child, and he is on scholarship at the same school with Ronan and Gainsey, and that's like the little trio. And then we have Noah, who is like just sort of there. And I'm also not going to spoil his plotline, but I would say Noah is Peter. And I have more to say on this in a little bit, so just hold that, pin in that. And then we have Blue, who is the main girl character in the story. I wouldn't say any of these characters are the main character. Like, they all are so extremely important in their own right that that's why I really love it, I think. Like, there is really no main character. It's mostly told from Blue's perspective, but it's like an equal little friendship, you know. Blue is, I would say she's Lily. However, I don't know how I feel about that bit of correlation, because Blue to me is way more quirky than Lily Evans ever is. But Blue is also very academic. She comes from a family of psychics, so she's living in this house with 3 other women who are all like psychic tarot reader people, and she goes to public school, but then she ends up hanging out with these boys and becoming good friends with them and maybe dating some of them, who knows. But that's like not a big aspect of it. It's more about the adventure, it's more about the friendship, and how all these people all have their own like values. And I just really like this series, and I feel like everyone should read it, but also it's just so Marauders to me, and I really, like, I need y'all to read this and see how it is also a good Marauder story. More on Peter, though. I have some more thoughts and theories, guys. We have more thoughts and theories. First off, Peter. I think about Peter literally every day of my freaking life. I need a backstory on why he ended up this way. I want to write it, or I want someone else to write it, and I need to read it, and I need to understand him, because I physically do not understand how someone could betray their friendships like that. Like, I don't I don't understand it. I'm too Gryffindor to understand why someone would do that. And I just really want a backstory on it. This is why Raven Boys, the Raven Cycle, has sort of helped me with that a little bit, because Noah's character, as I said, Noah is Peter type of deal. Noah is sort of just like there for the ride. Like, he's also a little rich boy, he's friends with these people, but not as tight. He's just sort of always there. Like, he's always invited and they're always nice to him and they're always like having him come along, but for some reason he just doesn't vibe well. He's just sort of there, he just sort of want to have a good time, and I think that like motivates him, I guess, is his want, is to just have a good time. So if the rest of the group isn't just like matching with his idea of a good time, then he doesn't really care to be there. And that's where I'm sort of thinking Peter's coming from. Like, Peter is also a like rich pureblood. He's friends with James since childhood. I like that aspect of all the young dudes. They don't mention that in canon, but I feel like that's an important aspect of like, oh, Peter is a childhood friend of James, so when they get to school, they're still friends. Like, it makes sense. And then from there, he just sticks around with James but never quite fits in. James is making more friends, but Peter isn't really. He's just sort of vibing with them, hanging out with them. They're in the same dorm room, so you might as well hang out. James and Sirius and Remus are including Peter in all their activities, so Peter's just sort of there to hang out. When it comes down to it, his motivations are about self-preservation, and he's like so intrinsically selfish that he ends up betraying Lily and James and the Marauders. More on that. Dumbledore is the worst. My newest theory in the Harry Potter universe. This isn't like a new theory. I didn't come up with this. I'm pretty positive I saw it somewhere on TikTok a couple of times from different people, so I don't know which one was the first. But I am essentially convinced now that Dumbledore orchestrated this whole thing. Like, essentially, he supposedly orchestrated the whole thing anyway, that Harry would be the chosen one, Harry would go do this, Harry defeats Voldemort, and Dumbledore raised him to do that, right? This is common knowledge. However, I'm starting to think if Dumbledore is smart enough to go do all that he arranged for Lily and James to die in the first place, and he also discarded Sirius into Azkaban, and he also didn't care to follow up with Remus, and he also let Peter go and be a part of the Death Eaters. And Dumbledore, in my head, is just such a terrible person by now. I hate him so much. And I could go on that, like, but we're not gonna do that today. That's a different video. I have another Dumbledore slander video. That's gonna come later. I can't do that right now. We can't get into it. But what if, stay with me, Dumbledore schemed this whole thing up and planned this all out, and he's like so smart that he's able to like chess move all these people into place. He's like, Lily and James are discardable, Sirius is discardable, Remus is discardable, Peter is discardable, but he has Peter as a double agent and he's controlling Peter to go do this. Subconsciously, Peter doesn't really know that he's being used, but he is. Because when it comes down to it, why does Dumbledore have the invisibility cloak on the night they need it most? Ugh. And there's no way that Dumbledore didn't know that Peter went and told on the Potters about their location. Like, there's just no way. There's no way. Like, Dumbledore wanted to be the Fidelity Charm Keeper in the first place. So, like, I think he orchestrated it. I think he meant for them to die all along. But I think Peter was used. I don't think Peter is, I don't know. I like to think that maybe Peter was not that, like, evil. That he was just used and manipulated into different situations. Because he's a morally gray character to begin with, but then I feel like he was used. That's what I like to think. Anyways, what do you guys think about Peter? What do you guys think about Dumbledore? I want your theories down below because I need to talk about this with somebody. Last but not least, I just want to mention, like, Sirius's distrust for Remus during the war years hurts me so much, and I just, why? Like, I don't understand how, like, that's such a, well, Sirius and Remus is not the healthiest of relationships. You could, like, we could go into it, but they're just, it's not a super healthy relationship, and I feel like this is the main evidence as for why. Like, they don't trust each other. Sirius does not trust Remus, and all along, Remus was just a good kid. He's gone through too much. Sirius, why would you betray him like this? He would never betray you. And the fact that they would trust Peter over each other hurts, but also makes me think that Peter's a better guy than we give him credit for. If you are a Peter lover, can you let me know down below why? Also, I feel like the fan cast for Peter doesn't hurt, you know? He's a nice looking guy, and I feel like that helps. Anyway, that's all I have for you guys today. Have a very happy Halloween. I probably won't, but you know, we can always try. Let me know your theories down below, and I will see you. Bye! Thanks for watching.